Welcome to the On My Mind podcast. I know that what is on our minds can impact those around us and ourselves for good or for bad. Join me, Remy Keene, as I share tips on how to have a better day by changing what is on our minds. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to the On My Mind podcast. I'm so excited that you're here with me. I'm excited whether you're joining me from a podcast platform or from YouTube. I'm excited that you get to be with me here. Hey, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, make sure you're subscribed so that you can get all this awesome content and more content. I'm releasing other cool videos and just tips and tricks for you to be able to be the best version of yourself. And I mean, it's a great thing to be subscribed. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, do that as well, because I want you to have all this awesome information and be a part of the On My Mind podcast community. So I'm excited to hop in here and get talking about boosting your self-confidence. Self-confidence is something that is definitely, needing to be addressed. We go into different situations and we can lose confidence just by a couple things we think about and what hits us. So I want to share ways of how to boost that self-confidence. Number one, groom yourself. Grooming yourself always makes you feel good and taking care of you. Whatever you do, especially in the morning time, it's important that you do it because you get to become the best version of yourself in your mind. When you brush your teeth, when you take a shower, when you do all the stuff, when you shave, when you need to just address what your appearance is going to be when you look out the door or walk out the door in the morning. I mean, whatever it is, if you groom yourself, you're going to have that boost of self-confidence knowing that you look good and you're ready for your day. Number two is like that one. It is dress nicely. I mean, you got to look nice. You got to look your best if you're going into a new situation. So especially one where you want to be confident, you need to look nicer. Looking nice is an awesome thing that basically you don't really have to wear like extra formal clothes to look nice or anything. If that's your style, absolutely do it. But it can be just putting on one of your favorite shirts and dressing nicely. Doesn't necessarily mean dressing up a level. It just means dressing in a way that you're gonna feel good and look good. Next, think positive. Think positive thoughts. It's so easy to think things about ourselves in a negative way. Negative mindset just attacks us because it's just a part of the way we deal with life. It's so easy to focus on the negative things rather than the positive. But the benefit of focusing on the positive things is that you have more confidence in what you can do, in the good things you've done before, and you can make a difference in your own life just by focusing on the positive. Next, take captive negative thoughts. If there is a negative thought that comes at you from when you're thinking positive thoughts and everything, take that captive. It's like, no, actually, I'm not ugly. I'm the way that God created me to be. I need to, basically take that captive in a way that basically you break it down. You're like, why am I thinking this way? And then what is the actual truth? And you break down that negative thought. Oh, well, I can't do it because I failed before. No, you just learned a way that you couldn't do something. Failure is never a bad thing. It's only a perspective. It basically, if we see ourselves when we fail, when we mess up, when we do something wrong, if we see that was bad, that nothing good came from it, then that's the actual effect. However, if we see that we are, we're just learning, we're growing, we're getting to a new place, then that's the best thing because we become more positive and not focused on the negative. Get to know yourself. If you don't know yourself very well and you don't know how you'll react, then you get to know yourself. But most of us know how we react, how we're gonna counter our day, and we want it to be good. We want it to be in a great way. So make sure that you know yourself, that if you get to feeling in a certain way, learn how you can break yourself out of that mold. That's the best advice I can give you, is if you take the time to get to know how you react in situations, you can prevent yourself from reacting in a bad way. And that's the best thing about that. So make sure you do that. Next, be kind and generous. It feels so good and is so self-confidence boosting when you're kind and generous to people. Sometimes you can feel like maybe you get trampled on by being kind, by being generous. However, it will pay off. You being kind and generous to people around you is one of the best things that you can do. Uh, just make that effort to be nice to someone. Random acts of kindness are something I like to talk about, like to share. I would absolutely suggest to do a random act of kindness, especially in the way that this world is going right now, that everything is kind of falling apart. If you bought someone's lunch in the drive-through of the next restaurant you went to, how much do you know that could benefit them? I mean, that's so awesome. Kindness really is so impactful and goes such a long way. And you feel good. And because you feel good, then it boosts you up and boosts your self-confidence. So absolutely be more kind and generous. Next, stand tall. I mean, using good posture in when you're in an awkward situation, or when you're in a situation where you could be, not as confident, if you use the posture and you just stand tall, then it's gonna seem like you're confident. It's gonna boost your confidence, and it's gonna make you look confident, so people will treat you as if you are being confident. Standing tall, looking tall is not because if you're 5'3", you're 5'3". However, when you set up with your posture and you use good posture, it immediately looks better. And then you get to embrace that and use that to your advantage. Stand tall. Next, set a small goal and achieve it. Set a goal for yourself, one that you can think of that's a good way to that would be easy to reach, and that is a good way to boost your confidence. So let's just think, what's an easy goal? How about clean our bathroom? Most bathrooms need to be cleaned. If yours is clean, pick somewhere else in the house that needs to be cleaned. But set a goal and achieve it. Just set apart some time and prove to yourself that you know how to set a goal, and though it may be easy to achieve, you still have to allocate the time for it and pick the right way to do it. So just show yourself your own victories when you set a goal and achieve it. Next, focus on solutions. Focus on the solution that you reach rather than the failure or the negativity. Focus on the solution instead of the problem. We're all going to face problems, but the coolest thing about it is that we get to find the solution. We get to sometimes provide the solution to the situation we're in. Especially if you're at work and you're focusing on something that is just really tasking, and it's just, I don't know how I'm going to do this. When you actually reach the solution, you give that more focus than when you were going through it. When you were going through it, yeah, you were facing an issue, you were facing a problem. But if you focus on the solution that you reach, it'll make you so much more happy. Next, smile. If you put a smile on your face, it changes your attitude. It changes your confidence. And when you smile, you just feel better about what you're going through. Lastly, do something you've been procrastinating about doing. It takes just a few moments to decide you're going to do something, and then you can no longer be procrastinating about that. That is the last of these tips. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you can apply them to your life and see an awesome and good change from it. once again, I want to invite you to share this episode with someone you think could benefit from it, and definitely take the time and consider subscribing to the podcast. It's been an awesome time. There's a lot going on in my life right now. And I want to get real with you and use these last couple minutes to just explain that. So yesterday I was at home, and it was reaching the end of the workday for my wife, and I wasn't working because I don't work on Fridays, and I'm recording this on the Saturday before I post it. However, all of a sudden, I get a phone call saying that my wife had a seizure, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hopping in the car, I'm driving up there. So I did that. I got there, and she had just woken up from it. And basically we went through this whole crazy thing, but I still wanted to sit down at the podcast today and record it because I hope it really is impacting your life. I hope that I'm spending time that you are able to use in your life and benefit from it. I would just ask that you would pray along with me for Ashley to just be able to be in a good place. And the hospital, she's already home. The hospital said that basically all of her tests that they ran came back in a good way, and she just needs to follow up with her doctor. But we need to figure out why it happened, and of course your prayers are appreciated. So I want to thank you for that. And I just really thank you for taking the time to listen to the podcast, and I hope you just benefit from it, like I was saying, because that's why I want to do this. Is I want to show you ways to be able to just boost your life. What's on our minds really does impact our day. That's why it's called the On My Mind podcast, and I hope this has impacted your day. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the On My Mind podcast. Be sure to visit theonmymindpodcast.com to connect with us, and check out our Facebook group to join the conversation. If you love the On My Mind podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give us a review on iTunes. Until next time, have a wonderful and blessed day.